Welcome to the News You Can Use podcast. I am your host, Big Surf God, and today we got.
How you doing, y'all? Ryan and Duece.
Yes, sir. Ryan, how you doing today, man?
All is well. How are you, sir?
Oh man, I'm great, man. Great vibes today, man. I've been
For
having
sure.
some great interviews and inspiring interviews. So yeah, man, it's been great.
That's most piece. I caught the end of one that you were doing earlier.
Yes, man. I appreciate your support.
No doubt.
So tell the people a little bit about yourself, Ryan.
How y'all doing, Ryan and Duece? Well, very quickly, just so it's not confusing, the whole Ryan and Duece thing is just that if you know me, depending on where you know me at in the world, you just know me by one of those names. You know what I'm saying? The first one is my real name. The second one is just my street name for real. I'm from a town in Virginia called Woodbridge, right outside of DC. A lot of gangsters there, a lot of work there, a lot of money there, a lot of crime there, but a lot of great stuff there too. Young, running around in the streets, caught up with the homies, went to prison young, was there for a decade plus. Now I'm out in the world, just living my life.
So tell us a little bit about your upbringing, who's your parents like, you got siblings, just give us a little bit of your backstory.
Nah, man, I was the only child, like for real. I did what I wanted. I didn't get everything I wanted to. I wasn't that kind of child, but I learned a lot. I was perceptive. My mother, she's highly intelligent, double degrees in college. My father was in the streets. For real, I go to prison years later. I run into brothers who praise his hand in the dice game. You know what I'm saying? But my pops, he was always into music. Musicality was always in his blood. Him and his brothers young. They had a band. My father from New York, from Queens. They were doing their thing in the 60s and the 70s, whatever, but they never made it nowhere. But the music was always in them. I guess I was I guess I was born with it, I guess. To be honest, I know I've been writing poetry since at least like kindergarten. I know that I was putting words together that rhyme at least 6, and not in that fake corny way that all rappers want to pretend like they were doing. Like I was actually doing that. I was actually in homes with vinyl that was spinning around. I remember the purple and green Run DMC album cover. I remember the LL Cool J, all that. I remember the Whispers album with the twins on it, all that on various levels of musicality. So like I was really in the house trying to rhyme words together. You see what I'm saying? I know brothers like to get up here in front like, oh, I've been rapping forever, but then you hear they raps and you're like, yo, you trash. You couldn't have been putting words together your whole life. And if you did, people have been lying to you. All right, I'm chill. I'm
For
a
real,
chill.
for real. Hey man,
But
y'all know
for
about the
real.
Whispers, man. The Whispers put out a song called Olivia.
Mm,
And man, that was my
my
jam,
father
man.
loved the Whispers. My
Yes,
father
sir.
loved the Whispers. But I'm just saying.
So your early days of hip hop, what was that like? Like the first time you heard it as a kid, and give me a little bit of that.
See, it's crazy because like I can't, because I've heard it my whole life. Like it was always there. And then so where it gets strange about my my journey and that is the fact that where I'm from specifically,
Uh-huh.
the DMV area, there's many famous people from the DMV area. As far as just artists, Wale is probably one of the biggest ones that you would know of. Um, we grew up in an era, we grew up in a time, we grew up in a generation, we grew up in a place where go-go is our music. I don't know if you've ever heard of go-go music.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, I
have.
know in different places of the world, the go-go is like a club, whatever. But for us, it's a type of music. It's heavy in percussion, congo, steel drums, lots of drums. A lot of freestyling on the mic or doing covers of other songs. You know what I'm saying? And this is going on in a space where there's just a lot of dance and things like that. And so, matter of fact, just to backtrack a little bit, one of the most famous people in that space who gave that space the name that it is Chuck Brown. He has a street named after him in DC. He was one of the early contemporaries in this space. He was on stage with the 10-piece band. The crazy thing is he was up there with brass and high levels of percussion. This is how go-go ends up shaping. And then you get to many great bands in the future, Rare Essence, Junkyard, Backyard, Northeast Groovers, bringing it up to date. And so 911, all kinds of just great bands. So I grew up in a place where live music is the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, if you young and you in the environment which you have aspirations of growing up and being in a go-go band. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I always love music. I love live music. I love seeing it performed. There's nothing greater than seeing a man on the drums who can zone out for like 2 hours and hold that thing down. You know what I'm saying? And keep the heartbeat of what's happening in there going and grooving, and everybody just feels good. You know what I'm saying? And we niggas and we grew up in the hood, so of course, a lot of those moments get shut down, but a lot of those moments live on. You know what I mean, and you know where I'm going with it. And so
Yes,
the
sir.
thing is, outside of that, then I'd be at home. And my father, he's a little bit older, and so he listening to all this old stuff. So I would hear that all day long being played on vinyl. When he at work, I'd be playing, messing up records or whatever. But then my mother, she was up to date. So my first hip hop tape that I owned outside of just hearing it on a regular basis, the one that I first purchased with my mother was The Chronic, 1991. That was the first tape that my mother had a black Chevette with leather seats that were extremely hot in the summertime. We popped that thing in, and I was young. I ain't number like 8, and she let me say all the words.
Wow, that
I
was
knew
dope.
that I knew then that that I loved it. In mine, I couldn't articulate it then what I loved about it. I just knew that I loved the art of rhyming words and hearing people just say things to me.
Hey, which song on that tape was your favorite?
Oh man, I would probably say, what's that joint? And the dude RBX is on it. I think it's the Stranded on Death Row, where they all
Okay.
rapping on it. I think it's that one. Yeah,
Doom, 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 doom. I remember
yeah,
that. With the
no
hey,
doubt.
hey. I remember that. I remember that. Mine's, I don't know if I had a different tape or I heard the original Chronic or not, but it had, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense on it.
No doubt. I mean, you from the space where it came from, so who knows?
So the tape I had, the Chronic tape, it was white. And it had, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense on the tape. And it was the Chronic album, but I'm like, this is DJ Quick. But
Mm,
I don't know. You know what I'm saying? If I
I
had the
don't
right
recall
tape,
mine happening.
was it a
And mine was
mix?
great.
Yeah, yours was great. The clear
Yeah,
with the
mine was
gray,
great.
right?
Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. So yeah, that was heavy influence. That's some of the most earliest music I can remember too. Is the Chronic tape, Coolio and the Chronic tape.
Mm, mm. Yeah, I
Yep.
think it was great. Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, that was my early. That was my earliest inception. Like I said, I was listening to hip hop already, but that is what became my favorite. Like I loved the sound of what Dre was doing. It just resonated.
Wait. I gotta tell you though. Are we gonna consider Atomic Dog like a hip hop song? Because I felt like that nigga was kind of rapping.
So, so the thing about George Clinton, when we talk about just and then mind you, and then he was just so genius in what he did. He gave us two different groups within one whole thing. What was the Parliament and the Parliament and the Funkadelic, whatever. But the thing about it was when you listen to the stories of like the early hip hoppers, when Busta Rhymes tells the story of meeting him, and I believe he got the book Behold the Pale Horse from him.
Mm,
You see what I mean? So to know that not only were brothers already in tune with what he was able to produce musically, but he was actually in the culture, if depending on what you view the culture to be, passing on information that lives on through the music.
facts, facts. That's the goat, man. George Clinton is a goat. I seen him on like Drink Champs or something recently, and I'm
Mm,
like, he's still doing his thing. You know what
no
I'm
doubt,
saying?
no doubt.
Shout
He's
out
still
to him.
living, still vibrant. Sure.
So, what was your first experiences like in the studio?
Well, the crazy thing is, so when I was young, I would always be on the mic, but I didn't get in the studio until I was out of prison. Like I've been out of prison for 5 years. I'm going on my 6th year home. You know, and
Yep.
really it wasn't even until I had been home like 2.5 years because I had surgery on my face when I got out. When I got out of prison, I had a tumor in my jaw right here. I had what's known as a an amelioblastoma, a non-cancerous tumor. I
Mm,
had got it in a fight in prison. Tooth broke. They never removed the whole thing. My jaw ended up developing a cyst around it. Whatever, whatever. So the thing was, you wouldn't be able to tell, but I knew it was there. When I came home, I had to get it removed. I had 40 staples in my neck, and then they had to replace the bone in my jaw with the bone out my leg. So for real, I couldn't even talk for a while. Like, you know, I get to run in my mouth, get to spitting everywhere, couldn't articulate, couldn't articulate. Like, for real, it was really crazy. It was for real. It was brothers who I was in prison with. They be calling me all the time, like, get yourself together. Why you ain't making music? Why you been making music since you been home? And I'm like, yo, my nigga, I can't talk. My nigga, you gotta get back. You gotta get back. And for real, it was kind of like beating me over the head with like you rapped all them years of ciphers on the yard, nigga. Like, what's up, man? And I'm like, yo, I can't right now. But I'd be writing. And for real, like, they didn't know that, like, I'd be like, that was like the speech therapy for real. So I honestly, it was kind of like, you know, the music is always going to live on in me. I had already just resigned to the fact that I would just help develop who I believe would be the next one of the dopest in the world. Because the thing is, I could rap, like I won't even sit here and like beat any of the viewers over the head. But if you should happen to go tap into Ryan and Duece, like, I could rap for real. Like, I put it together well.
Hey, Ryan, I'm about to put you on the spot. Let me hear something.
Homie, if you haven't noticed the way that it looks in between social media, graphic arts, and design, in these verses and hooks, I bring you professor level lectures, education for crooks. I'm carving out a space for my name to be placed in these history books. Look, one of a kind, first of a kind, committed crime. Went to prison, didn't snitch, finished my time. Came home, flowing the mind, able to articulate anything that I think in the rhyme. Between 2 points, give them a line. Straight truth, only thing missing is lies. I ain't bring none. Ignorant nigga shit, I ain't bring none. Ignorant nigga, I ain't been one since young when wrestling looked real, and I really thought it was. And rappers would say that I'm gangster, and I really thought they was. And rap drug dealers told you that they sold them, but told you not to go and do drugs. Now they're all addicts that rap partially, crap artistry, drug infused. Your immune system is really a mixture of chemicals out of a pharmacy back room. Experimentation, you're a rat in a lab room. One flat boom from getting your cat blue by the ski mask crew. All he heard was footsteps and a click. He might have thought it was some tap shoes, but anyway. So,
hey, man, hey,
I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you.
Bars is back.
Appreciate you.
I ain't got one of those buttons. I get burp, 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 burp. I ain't got one of those. I gotta get one for you now.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, like, I'm not like, I really, like, I write.
You're not the typical artist, my nigga. I'm gonna be honest.
My nigga, like, mind you, I'm really out here. Like, I don't got all day, but like, I really be out here. Like, I'm still a nigga who will grab a pen. Like, I'm a creative by nature, but I say all of that to simply say that I had resigned to the fact that, like, I'm not phony. Like, I know and understand that, like, age isn't a thing no more, but like, I came home from prison and I was unsure about like what these spaces were for real. Like, I had cell phones in prison and all that. Like I was keeping up, but I still didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so once I was able to like see like, oh shit, like, it might not matter. And if nothing else, at least I'll be able to satiate that thing that was in me all those years while I was in prison, being young, serving those 15 years, just, you know, trying to stay focused, stay solid. So, you know, I go rap, I go build, I go read, I go work out. Rap, build, read, go work. You see what I'm saying? So I didn't want to feel phony. Like, I spent all that time and brothers who believed that I could make it, and I didn't at least give them something to listen to. You know what I'm saying? So then when I'm looking back 20 years from now, after I've been free for 20 years, and I'm like, damn, why didn't I? Like, I didn't want to be that guy, you know? Like, it's probably the saddest thing you could run across is the elder who tells you that they always had that thing, but they never pursued it. And really they don't realize, or maybe they do realize, they're telling you, yo, don't be me, you know? So it's kind of what it was. Really.
I believe in the each one teach one system, and I always tell my son, "Don't be me. Don't be my dad, because I wasn't him, and you don't be me, because we got to be better." And that's when you genuinely want the youth to win. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We want them to win. We don't want them to go through the trials and the tribulations and have to learn the hard way and go through the stuff we went through. We want them to get it. Like, man, look, it's not even worth it. Don't even go down that street right there. Just turn that little corner right there. Take the shortcut, man.
These are the facts.
Yes,
The
sir.
fact,
Yes, sir.
and it's why, and just because we're talking about it now. So earlier, I was telling you I had to go. I was next to the Denver DJ school. That's what I'm saying. Like, even though being in these spaces, I maneuver how I'm moving out here. You know, because I'm in Denver. I know I didn't even say that. I don't know. I'm not sure if I said that. I'm in Denver. When I got out of prison, came out here just looking for something new. Like, to be honest, like, I get big love at home, but the reality is like I didn't want to go back to where I went to prison from. So, you know, me and my wife, my kids, we came out here. I've been roaming around Denver, but I've met some good youth out here, you know, and so being given certain resources, I'm trying to develop a class. Well, I have a class that's being developed as we speak. The Denver DJ School is about to give us space to teach them DJing. We're going to make them well-rounded artists. And see, that's what I'm saying. Like, knowing that with each generation of this thing, this culture that we love so much, with each iteration, we're supposed to make sure that the next generation is doing it doper and doing it better and having access to shit that we ain't have access to.
Facts.
You know what I'm
That's
saying? So, you
facts.
know,
So, what do you think about? I always ask this question. What do you think about the La Russells of the game? Are you familiar with La Russell?
yeah, absolutely. Independent artist has a very strange flow, but I like it. And I say it's strange in the fact that he articulates in a very simple way, but it resonates. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can hear that it's sincere, you can hear that it's intelligent, and you know it's intelligent because of the way he's been able to move as an independent artist thus far. Like, I just seen him sit in front row at one of those 19 Keys shows. And I was like, damn, 19 Keys bears witness as well. You know what I'm saying? It speaks to what the young man is able to do. And then I seen another interview, I believe it was with Math Hoffa, and he was discussing when Rock Nation came to him, right? Something along those lines. But I believe that there's a space for what he is, and in the youth that come after him like him. He's very clear about the fact about what he's not, and I think that resonates with people who may not be what he is. You understand what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I get a lot of creative business sense from him. We talk every now and then, and
That's no key.
it's just so motivational. I'm in a Bay right now visiting family. I'm probably an hour or something away from him in Vallejo. So just pulling up to his spot, seeing his mom, his dad,
Mm,
and his situation and what he got going on is just so inspiring, man.
true.
It's super inspiring. If you ain't never been to a residency La Russell show, I
Mm,
advise you to go.
mm, true
Yeah.
indeed.
Go check that out. It's well worth it.
I believe that. Definitely a factor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, what do you think about the new marketing that he's exploring? Like, you don't have to go get a label if you go on even.com and sell your album for whatever offer based, or maybe big hit boy. I don't know if you are familiar with him.
Yeah, I know about Hit Boy as well.
He's
His
selling
father
his
received that
album
up.
on bighitnupit.com for $10. CD.
Big Hit Newfit.
Yep. If you want to purchase that new The Truth Is in My Eyes album, go on
Mm.
bighitnupit.com and you can purchase the album for $10 right now. It's not on no
N-
streaming platforms.
Now here's the thing. Now I saw him, LaRussell, speak about even. I emailed them coincidentally, and you know they ended up coming back talking about how full their I guess like how many people, the volume of people that are trying to get to them. So you know they're saying they're gonna get back to you or whatever.
Yes.
Now, or maybe I was just going about it in the wrong way. Now,
I think you did it in the wrong way. I'm gonna give you the
mm,
game on how to do it because I did it. I'm about to drop my album on there called The
mm,
Godlight.
mm,
Godlight album on the way, y'all.
true
God
bill.
Got You is out right now on all platforms, but the rest of the album will be on even.com. And I'll tell you how to do it off camera. If y'all watch it,
Please do.
I might give y'all the game. I might not. I don't know. The game is to be sold, not to be told. I do
Yes,
give
brother.
y'all a lot of free game, but I'm already doing a whole lot of stuff for free. Y'all gotta start paying me for something. You know what I'm saying? Something.
Yeah.
Donations, whatever. I'm gonna start putting my cash app at the bottom of this thing or something.
Mm,
Because the information that I'm giving away is so valuable. It might make you rich or change your life.
mm,
And I haven't got in depth about my research or what I know on how to market music and sell it, or how to market yourself and sell it. But I'm doing it right in front of their face because that's why they're watching the news. You can use podcasts. You know what I'm saying?
mm. She
This is
built.
how you take hold of your career and take it to the next level and be able to tap in and network with everybody. You know what
I
I'm
get it.
saying?
I
This is
do,
that
brother.
platform. But how do you feel about marketing? What is your strategy? What do you think you're gonna do to promote your music and push it to the next level?
Well, well, please, for everybody that's paying attention, please go to RyanOrDuce.com. Go and listen to stuff that I got up there. And I do have a bunch of music out here streaming. Like for me, Ryan or Deuce, Ryan or Deuce, Ryan or Deuce. It's simple as that. Um, it's for me, for anybody who's listening to what I've done thus far, like I have a lot of music out. Like I put a lot out. Some of it is done well. Some of it, I mean, you know how it goes. It's just music. I'll be the first to admit that, like, I'm not on social media every single day. Like, go and listen to this, go and listen to this, go and listen to this, and not for any other reason than for real, for real. I think a lot of times, like between making music and I'm also into making a lot of content as well. And so when you see people who are putting things on social media all the time, you see people putting things on the internet, what you start to realize is like there really is like this. I don't believe it can be oversaturated, but there's so much to pick through. It's like, do I even take the time to click on this? And the reality is that I like to rap about a lot of things, but all of it is meant to be, it's all conscious, it's all intelligent, it's all street. That's just what it is. And so if I have a, if I can explain the same thing in a song that I can explain in a piece of content I just made
Right.
and just play the song on the content, then I feel like that's the most honest thing that I could do. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, I'm going to make things that, go listen to this, go do this, go live every now and again and do things like that. But like that, that's the furthest that I've managed to travel with it, just with all of the stuff that's going on. Because it's like, I don't never want to, like, as much as I want people to enjoy like the music that I make, like, I don't want to make it seem like that's the only thing that I'm about. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the only thing. Like, it's not the only thing that I got to talk about. Like, I really can think. Like, I do public speaking. I did a lecture at North Carolina A&T a year ago about hip hop, all kinds of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, real things. So, like, the music really is like as much as even though of all of the creative things that I do, I've done it the longest. I'm also aware of the fact that everybody does it now. So for me to point and be like, yo, I do it too. Come listen to me, which I'm gonna do. I'm gonna definitely do it, but I do more than that. You know. So I don't want nobody to just be like, oh, he just another rapper. All right, cool. We'll put him on the shelf with the rest of them and shit. You
I
know?
mean, I feel like nowadays that's really what it is. The game is super saturated with a lot of artists. Some are serious, some are not serious.
D.
Um, it seems like the ones who don't really have good music are pushing it so hard that it blows up because the ones like us who probably do got a message, or do want to say something, we not taking out the time to really perfect our craft, market it right, invest into it like we should.
It's true.
Where do you think that come from? Because we the ones that they need to hear. They need to hear what you talking about for sure.
I mean, brother, I appreciate it. I mean, they need to hear what we're talking about. It's
Yes.
it's I think I think the hindrance is just exactly that. Like, if I know that if I know realistically, like realistically, and that's why I said what I said about LaRussell, knowing that he has managed to crack open a space that isn't regular. You see what I'm saying? Like, in a time where you see what gets pushed, you see what gets grabbed on, you see how people attach to certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can name a bunch of different names. I won't name any, but we know, but in knowing that, it's like, do I do I waste the time pouring a ton into something that for real might come across better in just a different space, and I
Right.
can just put them together. You see what I'm saying? As opposed to I'm the message is just in the music, so I just have to figure out how to get you to the music. But if the message is in the music, and the message is also in the art, and the message is also in this uh podcast or this show or this audio we just captured, this video we just captured, like, then there's a number of different ways that we can try to push. And really, that's been kind of like the goal thus far for me. It's not so much that, I don't want to put every single drop of me into it, but it's like it just seems like it would be better in today's world to just spread out all of the different places that it could work in, and while bringing it together in others. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Like, it
Yes,
just
sir. I think it's more about the focus. Like you gotta stay focused. I've been doing music for a long time, and to me, it was a lot harder to push my music than to push this podcast because I didn't have a
mm,
podcast to push my music. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna create my own platform for people like me who wanted to do interviews, who want to get on here and spit raps, who want to promote positivity, promote their music, and get to the next level without having to go through these gatekeepers and
mm,
the Adam 22s, the Vlad TVs, the other people that ain't even black trying to take over our culture. And I feel like this platform is about us taking the culture back and moving it forward and really shining the light on the little guy, the underdog. You know what I'm saying? That's who I do my interviews with. I'm not really like, oh, I could get this interview with this big artist, or I could blow up faster this way. It's like, nah, let me take the slow burn. I'm gonna take the slow burn, and it's gonna burn fast enough because to everybody else, it's gonna be like, well, damn, he blew up real fast. But it's like, nah, bro, I put that work in. You know
mm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely, absolutely.
this podcast is probably about 2 weeks old. I'm on episode 21.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? It ain't even been 21 days yet, but I'm on episode 21. And this YouTube page is probably 3 weeks old, maybe a month. And I'm at 1,000 subscribers and 500,000 views.
mm.
So I believe if you put your work in and your heart is in the right place, whatever you're trying to do is going to work. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to
Absolutely.
revamp the podcast of January, edit all these live videos down, and get them out on my video part instead of just on the live. So that way they can get better traction, get more views. But
Indeed.
this is just my building process. Most of my views come from like 15-second videos, 1 minute videos. I do a lot of shorts, and those get big numbers, and that's where all my numbers and following is coming from.
Mm.
So me pushing this was just like, well, I might as well go ahead and start my podcast while I'm doing these short videos and push the message. You know what I'm saying? While I'm building this platform.
I was doing a lot of shorts at one point, to be honest. Like, I went through about a year where all I did was make content for real. Like, that's all I did. I'm talking about I would just sit in front of the camera, talk for 20, 30 minutes. I go and make a video, edit, make a book. Like, I got a bunch of content. And it was like I was hitting a lot of good spots. Then I would dip in other spots. The music was doing all right, started getting more involved in the community for real. But I still make content. I still make content. Not in high volume like I did, but I still got a lot though.
Yes, sir, man. If you want, I told you, man. My platform is your platform. If you want to come over here and drop some content or promote something or market something, you're more than welcome. You know what I'm saying?
True, true indeed. I appreciate you for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, how do you feel about the state of hip hop right now?
I mean, so for real, I don't like when most people answer this question, right? Because I feel like most of the people who answer the question, I feel like they do the same thing most people do, and they live in a box with music. You know what I'm saying? So you'll end up putting like a blanket perspective on something that's so much greater. You know what I mean? And so it's like, for real, I love the version of hip hop I'm listening to right now. Like I love the stuff. I love the rappers that I listen to. For real. Now, overall, I hate the fact that, commercially and globally, they there is a thing that they pushing. But as far as like what I want to listen to, I think it's dope. You know what I'm saying? Like the ones who I want to tap into, I think that they got good stuff. The ones who ain't got good stuff, skip past that. But, go into the old parts of the catalog until they put something new out that I might resonate with. But for real, like overall, like I feel like it has everything that everybody wants, you know? Like, and as far as the parts that I want, I like them. But I feel like the overall push globally, like I said, and what gets played on the radio could be revamped for sure.
So do you feel like the currencies of the game, the Larry Junes, the people like that, the real independent artists that I don't know if you listen to them, but that's two of my
I love
favorites.
Currency.
Love me some Currency, bro. Love his movement. Jet Life. Shout out to Spitter. I'm gonna try to hit Spitter up and get him on here so he can give y'all some game, because whatever he been doing for the last 10 years
No doubt.
has been monumental. You know what I'm
Fact.
saying? And he's a pure-hearted, real, genuine person. I'm not nobody that these celebrities or people that I look up to and legends, they don't have to talk to me. They don't have to give me the time of the day. The JT, the Bigger Figures, the La Russells, the Currencies. They really don't got to give me the time of the day. But for them to do that, and not only do that, but want to work with me and want to help me move the culture, it's just commendable. You know what I'm saying?
I
It's
agree.
next level.
I agree.
Yes, it's definitely highly favored by God. Um, my spiritual journey has taken me to places that I probably never would have been if I wouldn't have been this way. I manifest everything. I put it out to the universe. I watch who I tell things to. I don't share all my ideas with certain people. I'm not out here. I'm not out here looking for handouts. You know what I'm saying? I'm genuinely showing love and knowing that I'm gonna receive my blessings from God.
You and me the
I'm not
same, brother.
expecting people to do anything for me because I did something for them. You know what I'm saying? So,
You and me
with
the same,
that being
brother.
said, the youth in the music industry and what's being promoted, the violence, the shoot 'em up, the I just smoked the op in the op pack. Like, why do you think that is right now? What is going on with the youth?
This is another one of those. This is another one of those. It's like a lot of times it just gets so generalized. So I told you a little while ago, I got invited to, I was at North Carolina A&T. I was in the English department. I did a lecture about hip hop, about 60 kids in the classroom, and we was there for about 2 hours. Long story short, we get to a point in the conversation where we were talking about Little Dirt, and we were talking about love songs for the streets, right? And I was asking them, like, how does everybody feel about that? Like, how does everybody feel about that album, that body of work? And it was kind of like a mixed. Some of them liked it, some of them didn't. All, of course, all like the young. It's college, so ain't none of them like. Few of them might have been shooters, maybe, I don't know, in a different life, maybe, but whatever. But yeah, I fuck with it, or nah, I don't. And so in that conversation, I'm saying it because I'm gonna put a quick pin in it. But in that conversation, I'm explaining to them how language can be confusing. When you think of a love song, the emotion of love, I'm giving, I'm caring, I'm embracing, I'm enduring, adoring, right? To put that in rhythmic form with rhyming words over beats, knowing the how frequency has the ability to entrain the mind. And then love songs for the streets. Now, mind you, I'm not going to say in front, like, I like it too. Just same as most niggas. But I'm also conscious of what it is and what I'm listening to. So I cannot be persuaded to go and drill anybody listening to Dirk. I
Right.
can't. I can't be influenced by anybody I'm listening to go do anything.
And
Period.
look,
Not at this point.
no disrespect to Dirk or OTF, but I never
Not
like.
at all. Not at all.
I never
Not
listened
at
to.
all.
I couldn't tell you one Dirk song.
No doubt.
I love hip hop. I love rap music.
No doubt.
Couldn't
No
tell
doubt.
you one, not one Dirk song. I could rap. I could rap some Chief Keef.
No doubt.
Benito. I know a gang of Chief Keef.
Mm,
You know
mm,
what I'm saying?
mm,
But Dirk didn't resonate with me. My favorite artist from Chicago is Kanye.
mm. He's mine as well.
I could rap
Well,
you a gang of
between him
Kanye
and
too.
Common. Between him and Common.
I couldn't tell you a common rap that I
I
remember.
definitely could. I definitely could.
I know he made some classics. He got some music I like. But did it resonate with me?
Well, see, Dirk isn't so much. It's not that because, mind you, it would be. I think that, and mind, that's what I'm saying. Like even being able to just recognize, like generationally, like where you stand at musically. For real, he's not even a what he produces isn't for, like, to be honest, it's not for brothers like me. I don't feel, but I'm in a lot of spaces where it's played, and you just learn to like things. Like I hadn't downloaded his album, and that's no disrespect, but like I said, it's just the example itself was just in the fact that love songs for the streets is about killing your ops. And so how that confuses a young mind. And then while sitting there, I'm tripping off of the fact that, yo, my oldest child is 25. My youngest is 20. All of these kids in here are 18 to 25, 18 to 24, somewhere around there. All of you have parents that are probably just like I am. Like when I was growing up, my father didn't really like rap, even though he liked 80s kind of stuff, but he really was like a 70s R&B soul, 60s Motown. My mom likes hip hop still to this day, but even though she grew up in that era. And so to know that today's parent, the parent of before, the gap between us was like this when it came to what we liked, what we resonated with, what we grabbed onto. Now, parents and children listen to the same thing. We dress the same. We like the same artists. You see what I'm saying? Like we laugh at the
Hey,
same
look,
content on the internet.
I had my first son at like 16, 17, so we grew up together.
Bingo. You understand? So you understand and mind you, mine came in it. It's crazy. So here I am roaming around 15, and then I get to 19, and then my other one comes much later. Well, I was locked, I get locked up, and she's born like a couple months after I get locked up, along with my son. And so I'm saying that to say this, and then I do 15 years, and I got to, they're in visiting rooms. I got to talk to them on phones. Like they got to read letters. And so then I come home, and of course I acclimate well to society, but in acclimating well, and then them seeing how, because the prison preserves you. I'm not old, like I live a certain way. So the thing is the same thing with most parents is the same thing with my own. Like we're the same, you see? And so to know that that gap has been closed, imagine how many parents cannot explain or articulate to their children the same thing I was articulating to this classroom about how confusing a title like Love Songs for the Streets can be, knowing that it's about killing. If your parents don't understand that, they can't teach that to you.
Nah, they can't. I was your kid because when I was growing up, my dad was in jail fighting murder. He was in the county for about 12 years. And I was that kid going to the county jail to see my father. One time I took some keys with me to try to get him out. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? And that's how confusing it was to me. And then he finally got out, and it was like, wow, you finally here. You know what I'm saying? But
indeed.
so I got to experience that and see what that felt like, having a dad incarcerated. And when I had my son, I kind of promised myself to not put him through that. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
To be there with him and to be a loving parent, I'm a man, but I'm giving my son hugs all day. I love you, kissing him and shit. You know, I'm being mommy and daddy, even though he had a mama right there next to him. But I'm being affectionate. You know, showing them that love that I missed out on. You know, yes,
Indeed.
sir.
That's how it's
And I
supposed to
think
be.
a lot of these kids and the youth, they're not getting that at home.
Mm,
They're not getting the hugs, the kisses, the I love you. You know, the full attention of the parent. Let's go to the park and just hang out. Let's go to the basketball court and shoot some hoop. Instead of me doing what I want to do, I actually rather just hang out with you.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? Where do you think that comes from in this today's era of parenting?
Exactly that right there. Like it's crazy because I be in spaces, you being there with the brothers and sisters, and so recently the conversation about like what is traditional values, like what does that even mean, right? Like to carry on, something as simple as we eat dinner together every Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Or uh you got off work or you got out of school and I asked you, yo, how was your day? And I think that the generations that preceded even my own, like they were better at that. And somewhere along the lines, like we just got away from it. And I think it was really like the installation of like the internet for real, because everybody just became consumed in other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like if I know that it's easy to just give your attention away, put your attention over here, or a lesson that I could give you by sitting down and explaining to you and taking time out my day, just being a parent, that you could learn on a video on streaming somewhere, like to know that you could go on TikTok and you can go and watch other families be families and you can pretend you're one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like the Matrix is really real in that
Hey,
way.
I see that a lot. My kids used to watch other kids play with toys or watch other families, and I caught that and I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make y'all a YouTube channel,
Mm,
and I made them a YouTube channel, and we did 10 episodes, and the reaction from them and the way that it affected them to let them know, hey, I'm on TV.
mm,
For me, it was inspiring. It gave them a
mm,
new sense of self esteem. Like I'm somebody too. You know, I'm no bigger or no smaller than those kids that I'm watching on YouTube. And I think that's the balance. Like your kids sitting around watching other kids play with toys. You might want to play with your kid with some toys because they want to play. They want to do something. They shouldn't be
facts.
watching other parents and other kids to get that feeling. You know?
Mm, indeed. Yeah, we've gotten to a strange place when it comes to that. Like it's like we've just streamed, like they've re-streamlined the way love and affection and the passing on of like morals and values and principles and just generational things. Like they've changed the ways in which it's been passed on and received. But where before it was, it's going to go from your grandfather to your parents down to you. Now it's go turn on that or go watch this or go listen to this. You know what I'm saying? The podcast, you could watch a podcast with a family on and feel more love. As far it seems like, or at least it'll come across like that, in some of today's world, for real.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affection in a household within families is super important, man. The I love yous, the I appreciate you, thank yous. Today's families, they don't do that.
Mm,
It's like everybody's all for themselves nowadays. It's not really like
I mean, I got daughters, my daughters are grown. And so like, I made it all the way through prison. You know, my daughter's mother, she rode with me the whole way, right? And so like we're together now. She's out there. upstairs doing stuff. My daughters are upstairs doing stuff. Well, at least one of my daughters is here, and so it's like having those female reminders, and they love the shit out of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm one of the dudes that I was lucky while I was in prison. Like I could talk to them every day. You know what I'm saying? I saw them every weekend for the most part. You know what I'm saying? So like they've known me their whole lives, even though I wasn't like here. So it's always in the forefront, the female. So you got to be gentle. You have to be loving. You have to be kind. You have to be reminded. Thank you, daughter. Let me hold it. And mind you, those things follow you out into society. So I just think that a lot of it just comes from the fact that many of our real man, many of our parents, they caught up in the same things their kids caught up in. That's just the reality of it.
It's a cycle. It's like, I was treated this way by my parents, so I'm gonna treat you like this.
Indeed.
My mama never gave me a hug or never said she loved me, so I didn't tell you I love you and give you a hug. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's changing the future.
Mm,
Nobody's making sure that, hey, I was raised like this, but I'm gonna make sure my kid is raised like this, and
mm.
I'm gonna make sure I nurture and I show the love and I do this and I spend the time and it's genuine that I really want to do it.
Now it's wild because when you think about now when saying that, and then then you'll use a term like out in society, knowing that Planned Parenthood is still going to get rid of a child, but that is Planned Parenthood. What you just said, that is the definition of what Planned Parenthood is supposed to be. You see what I'm saying? Planned Parenthood is, yo, I'm going to do this with my child. I'm going to do this with my child. I'm going to raise my child like this. I'm going to plan a life that is based around this. I'm going to give these things as a structure and so forth and so on. But now Planned Parenthood is, well, what can we do to help you get rid of it because you're not ready to be a parent? That you see what I'm saying? That's that confusion of language again. Love songs for the streets. You see? And so this is the confusion that we stuck in. You know what I'm saying? We can't even get out of the word boxes, let alone the actual boxes that be really fucking up our lives. For real. You know. And I say that as a dude who still just, I've been lucky enough to put certain pieces of this thing back together and start to, garner many of the things that I want out of this life. I don't have no complaints in that way. Like I'm not the angry black man. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm very happy for real. But I'm also conscious of what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I would never want to be phony in any type, like we have to be, like it doesn't even make sense to have a conversation if we're not going to address it the way it needs to be addressed. You know what I'm saying? That's why I hate the generalities, like, oh, well, if we just did this, like, nah, my nigga, like, you understand this planet is 196,940,000 square miles of planet and 7.3 billion people on this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't just generalize it like that. No, for real.
Hey, the worst thing that I could do is complain about something and don't try to fix it.
No solutions. I was
You know,
telling a parent this afternoon. I went to a brother's house earlier today to go and speak to him about his sons being in my music program. All right. Very beautiful gentleman. He's been giving knowledge of self to his sons. Very beautiful young man. They come to youth group throughout the week in the city. So I'm telling him about why it's important to even have them in the space doing these things. Why it's important to help mold them in how they think and how they view themselves in their own. You know what I'm saying? And then coincidentally, they rap. So as of right now, they're in a mind, and they're like 13, 11, and 9. So they're in a very pivotal place in their life. Like they can be teetered or tipped in any direction. And all it takes is the right or the wrong one to help push that thing forward. You know what I'm saying? So the truth is it's like if we're not, if we're not, if we're not gonna give it all it's supposed to have, and when it comes to that, then like this shit is dumb. Like it's dumb for real.
so I read some statistics earlier that 85% of single mothers raise criminals. Like these women out here having kids and the daddy not around and blah blah blah. They're the worst parents ever.
Hmm.
Their kids are subjected to go to jail, be dead by 25. That's when they say, oh, if I make it to 25. No, it's if you only got your mama, you might only make it to 25 because
Hmm.
it's no father in the house and these parents are absent. They twerking at the club, they getting drunk all day, they, prostituting, selling drugs. The kid is watching, and the kid grows up to be Merlin Manson or a murderer. And then we say, oh, all these kids are killing each other. But it starts at home. Why do you think that is? Is it for the EBT check? Is it because,
Hmm.
they need the housing? Because I don't think a lot of these women would even be able to take care of themselves if they didn't have kids.
We
The
know.
kids are taking care of the parents nowadays.
Well, I mean, well, yeah, the kid, the current generation of youth has managed to crack things open that weren't available to us before. You know what I'm saying? So now, the idea that like, that when you're young and back in the 80s and the 90s, the drug dealer, the dream is to reach a key and then get my mom my house. And then mind you, that dream then transitioned to the same rappers. I got my deal and then I got my mom a house. You know what I'm saying? So I 100%. But I think that for real, man, we try to, society really tries to pretend like the things that we know plague us aren't real, simply because they want to believe, we want to believe that like racism isn't this, or everybody has the same opportunities. All a black man has to do is to pull himself up by his bootstraps. And yes, it is kind of true. Like, as long if a black man is focused, he can go and get what he want.
It's
But
not true. It's not true at all. It's not enough jobs for everybody. Somebody
yeah,
got to
not
go to
hell no,
jail.
not in
Somebody
that
got to go to
sense.
jail, and somebody got to die.
That's a fact.
And by society and the government, the black man was chosen. The black man is, we're not even the majority,
Yeah,
but
we're
we're
the
the
sacrifice.
majority in prison.
Yeah, we're
We're
the
not the
sacrifice.
majority on the street. You know what I'm saying? It's systematically built that way. And I see it happening to the Spanish community right now. The same thing they were doing to us, they're doing to the Spanish community right now. And one thing about us and other races is we know that they hate us. But other races are going to treat the black man like shit and kiss the ass to the white man to fit in because they have a paler skin than we do. Where does
Well, not
that
just
come
having a
from?
paler skin, but the fact that, or the idea that, or the knowing that they have access to what it is that you really want. And so the fact that society will try to pretend like, oh, black man, all you have to do is go out here and do this. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, as I said, we know Elijah Muhammad told us very clearly, listen, black man, you shouldn't be out here trying to work for nobody. Go do for self. You know what I mean? And so if if many of the men in society who, in those earlier generations, who took that, and yet when they took that do for self, they took it and ran with it in ways that ended up getting them dead or getting them in prison. Like, that's really what it is. Mind, I was just, when I was incarcerated, the nigga that I knew who did the most time did 54 years. All right, he did 50 before he died. And I was there when he died. And what's so crazy is he died because the prison that we was at, they were closing it because it was so old. Mind you, Virginia's full of old slave plantations. All the prisons are built on old slave land, right? So the shit, mind you, they closed the prison that we were in, and they're calling it a antique piece of property or some shit. So they transferred us to all a bunch of different prisons. We get to this other prison. We were there for probably like 2 weeks. All of a sudden, one of the old heads we went there with, he come through in a wheelchair. We all talked to him like, oh, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. A couple of days later, the CO that brought him through there comes back and he was like, look, man, that guy that y'all was with, that got transferred here with y'all, I seen the love y'all was showing him. I wanted to come back and tell y'all he died. Like, damn, it was about 10 of us in the pod. It was a bunch of people in the pod, but as far as came from the other prison that we were at, we all came to the same conclusion. The last prison we was just at, this man was just there for like 24 years. That was his home address. As far as he knew, you niggas closed his house. His real house. The captain, yo, man, it's the funniest shit in the world. In mind, I'm gonna get right back to the point, but I'm saying it because it's the removal of the men who were in society that, in mind, he was from a generation, I'm out here, I'm part of a militant group that's got black power in him, and I'm robbing banks. So he was righteous in his moves, but that removed him from society.
Hey,
And
check
then you
this
got
out.
the other side of it. I just wanted some money.
You
And
got
they put
black.
me
You
here right
got
up there.
you got black people out here that don't even want to be black. You
That's a
got
fact.
black people out here that's more racist towards their own people than they are towards the next race, just to fit in or whatever their issues are mentally. Because it's got to be a mental issue. It's a
I think a
self-hate.
lot of it is just hate. I
It's a
think it's just hate.
self-hate
Just hate.
mentality going on. People hate themselves.
That's a fact.
They hate where they come from. They hate their background. They hate their mamas. They hate their daddies. They hate everything about themselves. And
But how do you have love when the man I love is incarcerated or he's dead? He's not here to protect me, secure for me, provide for me. I have a government that's willing to give me this. I'm a woman who desires this. I have children who don't have access to this. And then this is spread out as the same thing over a number of places. You see what I'm saying? And so when we talk about hate, because I said to my brother not that long ago, I said, yo, man, think of how twisted white supremacy is from this perspective. I
I
said,
call
think
it
about
black
everything.
supremacy now. It's black supremacy. It's not white supremacy anymore.
Oh, no, brother.
It's
No.
black
We can't change the
supremacy.
term. Because the thing is, it's the bleached mindset that we've
Yes,
taken on. I
we
mean,
are the
you're right.
KKK now. You know, your
I don't want to say that. I would
family
definitely
barely
say
give
we
a
have
fuck
ideas.
about your kids nowadays. So why the
Mm,
fuck would society care about your kids?
mm. I
If
get
if
that.
if your family don't give a fuck, why would your neighbor? You
But
know,
do you even
when
care
we
if
were
your
growing
neighbor
up,
does?
it was a saying: it take a community to raise a child. You know, when I was growing up, I knew everybody who lived on my block. I knew if Miss B across the street seen me doing something bad, she was gonna tell my grandma. We don't
That's a
have that
fact.
no more.
No, we
We
don't
don't
have that.
have we don't have that.
We
People
have
don't
that in
care
certain
about
places,
nobody else's
sure, but
kids. They barely care about their own kids.
I'm sure they have it in some places. Like everybody hasn't completely given up. But even when you think about when we go back to just self-hate, think about every single time that you or somebody you know has ever said these words. I hate that nigga. Every single time you've ever heard it or said it. Now, of course, we would just say it's language conveying a feeling about how I feel about this nigga over here. But the reality is those words never even existed until a Caucasian said them. Never. And when he said them about somebody who was probably 6, 7, 8x related in generations to one of us. So in the future, when it comes out of my mouth, that's a bleached mind. Even though I would like to think that up to this point, I'm extremely conscious. I love black people. I love melanated people. I believe a black man is God. But I also know and understand that for real, every single time I've ever put that frequency out in the atmosphere, I was perpetuating what they did.
I don't just believe the black man is God. I know the black man is God.
Absolutely,
And if
God.
you don't believe the black man is God and you're black, then you mentally brainwashed or you don't have
Mm,
no knowledge. See, a lot of people don't do research. They don't try to find out the information. They doubt themselves. They hate themselves so much they don't want to believe that God could be black. They don't
indeed.
believe that who was the guy that drew the picture of Jesus, which is some Spaniard guy, and they were in a gay relationship, and the Pope was his dad. So that's the reason why we have the picture of Jesus we got right now.
Mm.
It's all through the Catholic Church. You know
I
what I'm
can't
saying? It's
think of the
all through the Pope.
Caucasian's name, but indeed.
Christianity was manufactured by the Pope. You hear what I'm saying? When the
Well, the
blacks
current
left,
versions
when
of it
we left
are.
Israel, when we left Israel, when we left Israel, the real Jews, and the Holocaust happened, they brought in the fake Jews. Now this is in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have people that claim that they're Jews, but they're not. Israel is a part of Africa. Until they put that river or that lake there to separate it, they start calling it Egypt. But people don't do no research. They don't look up maps from the past. They don't do any research, but want to have a conversation with somebody as intelligent as us and try to make sense when they dumb. And that is very, it's insulting because you're an idiot and you're trying to convince me that the white man is right.
Mm. I mean, but we've been taught that white is right our whole lives.
Yeah.
You see, and so when we talk about, many of the things that just plague us, it just so much of it just boils down to just small things like that. But all of those things combined have created this giant thing that we're carrying around, trying to figure out how to deconstruct.
I mean, the son of Moses was a black man. We all know that, right? Is that a fact, or are we confused about that too?
Yeah, we know that Moses was a black man.
Okay, so who was his kids? Where did they go? All the information is right there in a book that everybody got on their table, but nobody takes the time to research and learn who they are. You know, if you ask me, the blacks that's in America, we probably more Indian than African.
Yeah, and so we know and understand that, of course, especially now, man. And it's funny because I like to read the Quran. I love the Quran. I love the Bible. I love Scripture. Chapter 99 in the Quran is the shaking. It speaks about the fact that there will come a time in history in which many of the things that were hidden from us will be revealed. And so here we are in the future, and we learned that many of us are part of the lineages of the indigenous people that were already here. We learned that there's caverns that go across from the Grand Canyon across this planet back to Africa. But then we're also learning that there's pyramids here in America, and so for real, like that just goes hand in hand with many of the things that just harm us. You're right, we're not researching, but we're not going to go and research when we've been taught that it's just easier to consume videos on the internet. It's easier to not pay attention. It's easier to not care.
Hey,
It's
it's an
easier to
old
just be
saying.
high.
If you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in a book.
Now it's beyond that, because now if you want to hide it, not only can you just put it in the book, you can just put it on the internet somewhere where there's already so much content. It'll just get hidden anyway. Or depending on how you put it on the internet, or on what space that it's on, they might just strike you anyway simply because they don't like what you're saying. So they'll find a way to get rid of it if they want to make sure that they don't want this in your. It's funny. They recently. I don't want to say that on your platform. I'm not gonna say it.
Say it.
No, no,
Say
no, no,
say
no,
that
no,
shit.
no, no.
Cause
Because
this
for
is
real,
this.
for
Hey,
real.
look. Let me tell you about the news you can use. This is
Mm,
an informational page. This is where we talk. We had those real black men conversations. You know what I'm saying? Black men and women conversations. This is where we tell our truth. So
indeed.
whatever you got to say on my platform, it's all good. I don't care. Hey,
Well, it's just about that. Like, just one example. Just knowing that it's very hard in many spaces, probably with the exception of X, which formerly known as Twitter. With the exception of that, knowing how hard it is to find information about like Pizzagate, knowing that directly is in correlation to men who like boys and little girls too. But
which man Roman? You know that come from Rome, the Caucasus Mountains, and
mm,
that's from that area. You never heard of it coming from Africa, or Egypt, or none of those. You never heard of
yeah,
it
that's
coming from
not a.
America before the white man came here.
Yeah, we didn't want to. That wasn't. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that at no point in history that there were probably those amongst us who never did anything foul like that, because
No, that's
foulness
not what
is.
I'm saying.
But
But
that's not our
the
nature. That's not
ideology,
our
the
nature. Yeah,
imagery,
yeah, that's
the
not our nature.
imagery, the
That's not
imagery
our
is on
nature.
it's already in stone. Every other picture of an angel is look kind of feminine and gay to me.
Oh yeah, nah. You talking about in Caucasian? Yeah,
And Caucasian,
in Caucasian culture and Eurocentric culture. That's what they're into. They've always been into that. We know and understand that gymnasiums in Rome were places where grown men and little boys met to do things. Like that's real. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is look up the etymology of the word
they're
gymnasium.
pagans. It's a pagan, it's a lot of them. I feel like the music industry is, being pushed by that,
Yeah,
being
it's
pushed
definitely
by
the same.
paganism.
Very similar.
And
Yeah, paganism, Satanism, you know, Masonic culture. But you got to remember, man, like the same, the same man who gave us his version of the Bible, King James, is also the same man who gave us demonology. So
facts. That's facts.
we're a
People don't know
people.
that though. And I have conversations with people all the time, and they want to argue me down about facts because they're so ignorant that they don't want to believe the truth.
Indeed.
They hate themselves so much when they look in the mirror, they say, nah, this can't be real. No, it's real. And it happened to you. And it's happening to you right now. And you're so brainwashed, you're going to continue to let it happen. It's going to happen to your kids too and your
Mm,
grandkids.
it's
You
already
know what I'm
happening.
saying? And it's going to get worse before
And
it
then
get better.
mind you, and then think about this, and then knowing that, so we're carrying this around, right? And then you have a child, and not only are you not going to be able to articulate to them how to avoid living that same cycle because they're going to follow you down that cycle, but then on top of that, it's already being ingrained in the generations after, simply in the fact that women are born with wombs, men are born with semen. You are already carrying every generation that existed before you in you. It's already there. This is the reason why it's so important to take the time to unlock those things in you that
Hey
will help
man,
you go
a
further in
woman to
life.
me is the closest thing to God because she's the only other thing that could create. He's the creator, she's the creator. So it's real confusing with me. Like, dang, is God a woman? But as men, we could never, that's where that ego come in at. That's where that macho, that ignorance come. Like if she's creating, obviously, they call it Mother Nature. You know what I'm saying? But these books have been written by men. Jesus never wrote a Bible.
No, we didn't.
No, he didn't at all. And they took so many scriptures out of the Bible to tell us the truth, like Exodus or the Book of Enoch. Most people don't even know those books exist.
Mm,
You
indeed.
know, they not looking into the emerald tablets. They don't care about that stuff. They live an everyday life, go to do their 9 to 5, come home tired, barely want to clean their house and cook and deal with their kids to teach their kids about anything like that or to even have the knowledge or the brain capacity to understand it themselves.
Indeed. So this is the reality of where we're at now. Like the truth is that the only way to really make this thing better, as much as we want to beat people over the head with information, it's really just getting to a place where you can start to unravel what's incorrect from what is correct, you know?
Leading by example. I think, I'm such a funny, charismatic person, I'm smoking my punts, I'm drinking my drink. People don't really probably take me even serious.
Mm,
But I'm so knowledgeable. If they gave me 10 minutes, I probably have changed their whole life
sure
and their
be.
thought process. You know what I'm saying? I don't know nobody that's going for their dreams but me.
Mm,
I don't
I
know
be feeling
nobody
like
else.
that
Everybody
sometimes.
else is working a regular job, living a regular life, living in a matrix.
Mm,
And they think that that is the right thing to do. They're so brainwashed that the government and the Rothschilds and Willie Lynch got they dumbass. They slaves. They
mm,
slaves to society. They think they doing the right thing, and they won't know that they doing the wrong thing till they die. All y'all doing is helping the devil. You helping the program.
mm,
You helping the cycle. Me, I've always went against the program. I've always went against the cycle. To get me to get a job is like I really got to be fucked up.
mm.
You know, to get me to go pay some rent, I really gotta need somewhere to sleep.
mm,
I'm not here to help the system. I'm not here to help the white man. I'm not here to pay for bills and all this shit that we never agreed to. You made up the rules and I just said, okay, I'm gonna pay it. Who the fuck made you boss and said you could take that land that's free that God gave me and sell it to me? That's like selling salt to a snail.
mm.
You ever heard that ideology? I could sell salt to a snail. I could sell water to a whale. That's basically what the society and the government and this world has done to us. And we so stupid, we buy it.
Mm.
And if you take it, you're a thief. But all of this shit has been stolen. You hear me? Everything has been stolen. Nobody owns anything. God never said, oh, the Caucasian man could sell you land and sell you a house and he could give you a job and he's in control of everything. He made up all the rules and I put him in position to rule you and you're going to be his slave for the rest of your life. Who the fuck said that? I didn't
They
read that
did.
in the Bible.
They
You know
did.
what I'm saying? I never seen that under a little white line. What is, so rules don't apply to me. People always say you don't follow the rules. You can't control me. You're not God. Stop trying to play God. You know you going to hell for that? You can't be the judge, the jury, and the executioner. God is the only judge. And if you got faith and you believe in God, you should never judge. You should never try to tell somebody else what they should or shouldn't be doing. It's not your place.
I'm not gonna say that. I'm definitely not gonna say that because we know and understand that for real, like we all possess experiences, and many of us learn from the experiences of others. So for real, like I
You know
judge
what? You know
everybody.
what? You know
Like
where I
I
messed
think
up.
that it's incorrect that I would go amongst anybody and not weigh what I'm looking at or measure what I'm looking at amongst other things. Like I'm definitely gonna judge you. Now, whether or not I'm gonna openly put my judgments out against you and try to like shame you or something like that or use them against you, nah. But I definitely think that it's important to judge because that judgment will determine where you and I go.
Yes,
That's
sir.
important.
But it's not your job to discipline.
Of course, that I
You're
agree
not the
with.
judge, jury, and executioner. You can't
I agree with
discipline
that. I
what
agree with
what
that.
people. Oh, this person did this, so I'm gonna do that to him. You're the devil.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You're not letting God have His way. You're getting in the
You might
way
not
of
call it
God's
the
blessing, or you getting in the way of what God's trying to teach when you do that.
devil, but I get that.
Right,
I get
right,
that.
right. So in this state of hip hop, where your booty hole's brown, your coochie's pink, how are we supposed to raise our daughters when
I
everybody
mean,
when it's glorified to be a prostitute?
simple. You make sure that you as a parent become more influential than the art. Like, and that's really what it
Oh,
boils
wait,
down
wait, wait,
to.
wait, wait. Look, most parents aren't influential to their kids. Most kids don't look up to their parents. They look up to Spider Man and Hello Kitty, or Barbie is more important than you. You know, daddy and mommy.
I mean, yeah, this is true in many households, I'm sure, but I can't speak for, you
Parents
know,
aren't heroes no more. I used to ask my oldest son
some
all the
are, I'm
time.
sure, some
I
are.
used to ask him all the time, who you look up to, who you get your influence from. And he said me. And at the time, I wasn't thinking like I am now. So I wasn't where I'm at now. You know what I'm saying? Mentally, I was stupid. I was game banging. I was doing all the wrong shit. But even at that time, he still looked up to me like he looked up to Spider Man or X-Man. I was his hero. He was influenced by his dad. He wasn't influenced by when nobody else did. Kids don't got. I mean, parents don't have that type of influence over their kids because parents aren't cool. Parents don't do shit that's interesting enough to make you say, "I want to be like you." Kids not looking at you saying, "Oh, you go to work every day. I want to go to work."
Well, yeah, I mean, that's if you doing that, but that only matters if if that's the only thing that you have to offer your child. Like if the only thing you
Most
have to
people
offer your
only got
child,
that to offer because most people ain't got nothing else going on. They're not creative.
mm,
They're not using their brain.
mm, I mean, it depends. Like I can't say that. I just can't. Like I said, I was just with
Hey,
a
from
gentleman.
experience, from what you experience, you deal with kids. Are they parents creatives?
Well, I can't. I wouldn't know. Like I don't know what everybody's parents are into. What I do know is I run across kids who, even if their parents may not be, their parents may have enough in them to be like, well, I can help get you over here because I don't understand that shit you're doing, but maybe if I get you over here, like I can get you to somebody who might. So like I get that, but if all you have to offer your child is, oh, go get a job, you know what I'm saying? You know, go work for somebody else, make somebody else's thing grow, then yeah, you probably won't be. But even in that, the reality is like I would never sit here and act like every single every single youth that I run across or every single youth that's in the street is gonna grow up to be something great. Because I was a youth once and all the youth that I grew up with did not turn out great. You know what I'm saying?
Who,
So like
but who was around to put that in? Because I got kids. Their moms control and dictate their lives. I don't have the control, unfortunately. And I'm gonna be honest, they're not creatives. They're not the type that's gonna go make sure that my son is in that karate class or that you gonna interact or you gonna sit there and watch him while he do it. Some of them do, some of them don't. So what do men like us do with this with the way the government is set up where if you're a woman and you have a child, you get a check and you can take your you got all the control. You got once you go get a county check with the child, you got all the custody because they're gonna make sure, hey, if you tell me who your baby daddy is, he got to pay child support.
I mean, you know, for me, that's not even a reality. You know, when
That
it
is
comes to my
reality.
the women, like when it
That's
comes to the women
reality
that,
like a motherfucker,
oh no
boy.
no 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 no, that's definitely a reality. But for
Negative. So
me,
only
that
15% of women are still with the man that they had a child with and got married.
I believe that 100%.
15%.
Believe that. I mean, especially when the values of marriages or being together in relationships for long
Man,
periods of
I
time.
haven't been to a wedding in years.
I was at one
I
last
don't
year.
know nobody about to get married.
I was at
People
one
say
last
it,
year.
but I ain't never been to their wedding.
Yeah, I
I've
was
never
at one
been
last
married.
year.
I've never asked the woman to marry me.
I'm married.
See, God bless, man. See, you made a choice. You know, I made the wrong choices in life. I was just out here just being free and not really getting with women that I had a real connection with, that we see eye to eye, that we're both on a mentality level is the same. I've always went below because it was easier. It's like, oh, she gonna be easy, so I'm gonna just take her and keep her along with me. But really, when we had to have a full conversation with each other, we ain't got nothing in common. You don't even
See,
think like me.
see,
You
when I
don't
was
even learn
young,
shit.
I went to prison young. I went to prison 2 days before I turned 20, where I caught my case 2 days before I turned 20. Coincidentally, that's a whole other story. But so while I was incarcerated, I mean, of course, I've been a dude that's always had a girlfriend since I was like 6. I ain't never been without a female ever in this
Me
entire
neither.
life.
Hey, I've never been without
Never.
a female ever in life. I had
That's
so
what I'm
remember
saying.
I was the guy. I used to leave high school with 10 girls.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
didn't
I
hang out with a
never,
lot of niggas. I had so many females, it was ridiculous. The niggas hated me. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
I've never been without a female ever in this life. And so even when I was in prison, I met females. I just sent them to my wife to bring me the sack, all kinds of shit. Right. And then I got out and my wife and I are still together now. And so the thing is when I'm out here in the world, like I'm very clear about what I want and what I don't want. And the truth is like I don't want that. I don't want the drama that comes with that life. Like for real, like I'm really not the dude who like I would never promote something that I don't live.
You know what I
Like
notice
for
about
real.
people that go do time and they get time to sit back and really analyze life? They usually do get married. They usually do settle down. You know what I'm saying? they don't take life for granted like I did. To think that the world is in my palm, I can have every woman I want. I could do this, I could do that. I'm a player, I'm a pimp. She's a bitch, she's a hoe. Fuck them bitches. That was my mentality when I was young. I listened to Dog Pound. That was my favorite group. Bitches ain't shit
One of my
but
favorite
hoes and
groups.
tricks. So I never had a father to teach me how to even treat a woman.
Mm.
I didn't know how to treat a woman.
See, my pops was a ladies' man.
When I turned 15, a pimp told me that I was handsome and that I could have any woman I want and I need to use my game. And I took that shit and ran with it for years.
That's what I'm saying. My pops was a ladies' man, and my mom gave me all the game. So for real, I never had to. That's why I ain't never been alone. For real, I keep it 100.
Only time I ever been alone is by choice.
Exactly.
I got
And that's
tired of
not. And
bitches.
in mind, that's not alone. That's just free time.
At this
It's
point,
free
right now,
time.
what we talking about,
That's just
I'm,
free
you
time.
know, I'm single,
Indeed.
but I'm single right now by choice, not because I gotta be. It's just that I don't
Exactly.
want to deal with people I have nothing in common with.
I
It's
understand
hard
that.
to meet a woman with the brain capacity to be able to hold a conversation with me and we ain't gotta have sex. You know what I'm saying? Shit, that's rare. That's like what they call it, sheepskin. You know what I'm saying? Rare fabric, man. It's a different cloth. You know what I'm saying? These women, and it's probably me are the ones I go for, but
Mm,
I'm not meeting my match. You know
mm,
what I'm saying?
mm.
And
I'm
it's
sure
so
you will.
hard
I'm
to
sure you
meet your
will,
match
brother.
in this economy because if I got money and I look like I got money, then you want me to spend all my money. You know, if I don't got no money, then I'm a bum and I'm a punk ass nigga and I ain't shit. You know, I had so many women, you know, not even trying to be disrespectful, but call men niggas. And in my mind, if I'm a nigga, you's a bitch.
Mm,
I don't want no bitch. You know what I'm saying? That look at the black man like a white man would look at a black man. You calling me a nigger? I'm a
mm,
nigger to you. Oh, that nigga ain't. Oh yeah, I just met this nigga. Where does that ideology come from, man? Where are these women brain capacity at? Do they not know that language, spelling, it spells what you say out your mouth, the way you articulate yourself is affirmations that this is your, you know, you manifesting your destiny by the words you use every day. I stopped using words like recently, like maybe a week ago. I don't use dope or that's fire. I don't use none of that no more. I try to articulate myself like a person who has some knowledge or who know how to speak. Because me saying, "Hey, what up, cuz?" and "What the fuck's going on? What's the deal?" That's dumb nigga coonery. That's called jive talk. You know what I'm saying? Are we still jive ass niggas out here, or are we elevating our brain capacity to a point where we could change the future? Because it's already too late for us, but it's not too late for the new generation.
I mean, that'll time will tell that. For real. Time will tell that.
I don't see it going in the right direction, man. I'm gonna be
It
honest.
is. It is in certain places. It is in certain places, certain spaces. I mean, the reality is everybody's not meant to be great. Everybody can't sell it. Somebody has to smoke it,
Yeah, somebody got to be the crackhead, right?
you know? That's
Damn.
just the reality of it. Everybody can't be the professor at the front of the classroom. So,
It's
like
sad
for
to see
real.
it's our people though. I'm super pro black. I go to liquor stores and the Arabs treat you funny. You go to a Spanish market, you're not wanted there. And if you go to any Chinese store, a Chinese grocery store, they probably won't help you find shit.
For sure.
You better not be doing no Instacart and try to find some groceries at a Chinese store. You have to be there for 2 hours.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna have to. We have to bring this to a close, but I got some things I got to do, brother. I'm gonna keep it real with
Hey,
you, man.
look, man, this conversation right here was way more important than anything else we could have talked about today. And anytime I want to have you, anytime you got time to come back on so we could talk more about your music and get into that, because that's really what this podcast is about. It's about hip hop. But today I'm on lifting our culture.
I agree with you,
You feel me? So
and I
this is
appreciate
the
it.
News You Can Use podcast. This is episode 21. We did this in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We had 1,000 subscribers. Go on and subscribe. We need 2,600,000 more views to be monetized, so your boy can get paid. Because I've been doing this off the love, the strength. So if you watching this, I'm not rich. I got kids. I got bills and stuff. If you want to send some donations, hit me on my Instagram in the DM. I'll send you my Cash App. We're gonna be dropping merch on this page. We're gonna be doing a listening party with JT the Bigger Figure tomorrow. We got an interview with Crip Dave, the manager. We got K Eastside K Boy, which is a big artist. So if you watching this, man, support your people. Support black owned business. I'm independent. I don't ever plan on going and signing a deal with anybody. If anything, it would be Barstool Sports. Um, get at your boy, man. Just and tap in, man. Let them know where to find your social media and your music.
Oh man, please tap into Ryan or Duece, Ryan or Duece, Ryan or Duece. If you on IG, Ryan underscore or underscore number two. If you on Facebook, Ryan or Duece. You know, if you on YouTube, Ryan or Duece. If you on SoundCloud, Ryan or Duece. Go listen to the joint that I recently just dropped, Ready to Live by Ryan or Duece. Go to ryanordeuce.com. Merch coming soon. I got a bunch of music out here. In the event that you just want to tap in and just talk about life or culture or the things that plague black people, come to me as well.
And I want to get Ryan to do something here as a host. I want him to pick a day out of the week where he can do his
Mm,
own segment on this channel, where he can interview who he wants, or he can talk about what he wants. So Ryan, if you up for that, we're gonna talk in the inbox. So you just call me, and we're gonna figure out how I can get you on this page, because I feel like this is what the culture need. They need black men like me and you, and
mm,
my boy T Michaels is in Spec and Lindrum, to be able to move this culture in the right way.
mm. I appreciate it, and I definitely was happy with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate you. I love the music. The freestyle was dope.
Thank you,
The
bro.
content, what we were talking about, I'm engaged, and I feel like
Mm,
the people gonna be engaged. Y'all go tap in with the real, leave the fake alone. Go holla at my boy Duece. You know what I'm saying? And we out of here, man. Signing off. The News You Can Use podcast.